Ready? Thank you. Hi, welcome to Digital Week Online. Here with a very interesting panel to talk about NFTs, gaming, and entertainment. We have Mike Patel from DeFiBench, Vlad Ginzburg from BlockParty, and we have Travis Wright from Bad Crypto, if I'm correct. So Travis, why don't you take us off? What's happening in NFTs now? What's the latest thing?
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on in NFTs if you're paying attention. I think today, actually, one of the biggest things of all time has happened in NFTs with Beeple selling some art on Christie's for $60 million. So I don't know, this Beeple guy's getting out of hand with all of his Ethereum. I don't know. He better have a big ass wallet to be able to handle all of this Ethereum coming his way. But there's a lot of stuff going on. As you mentioned, I host Bad Crypto. I also am the co-host of the Nifty Show, and we've done this for almost a year, talking about NFTs weekly every Friday. So we're seeing a lot of stuff. There's amazing things going on with NFTs. Maybe we go around and do a little quick intro to everyone, and then we'll come back and talk about some things.
Sure, Mike, why don't you introduce yourself and DeFiBench?
Hi, James. So one big news that DeFiBench has been rebranded to ADA Swap since the last 4 days. And we made an official announcement all over the world, Twitter, social media, everywhere.
So that's ADA Swap, EDDA?
EDDASwap.com. And anyway, our token is ADA. We just got listed on Uniswap 3 hours ago. And
congratulations.
Thank you. And it's looking crazy. It's looking very good. The Twitter is going through madness. And with regards to NFT, we've been in the space for more than 7 months. People like Cameron Winklevoss, Tyler, Charlie Shrem have actually tweeted and shared our NFTs on their Twitter and Instagram by tagging me and our company handles multiple times. We are also in talks with them to do some great stuff with some of their group companies. And we just announced NFT auction partnership with one of the Binance listed company called Bounce Auctions yesterday. And we will be doing a lot of innovation in the NFT space with them. So our focus has been, we are a DeFi NFT platform. We have a DeFi asset management platform, NFT platform. When we say NFT, we're not a marketplace like Rarible, Nifty, or any of these companies. We create original content with some of the top global artists. We invested insane amount of money and time over the last 7 months to create a bank. And thankfully, NFT is now in a pretty crazy buzz. So we have almost 5 marketplaces chasing us for tie-ups, but we'll work with maximum 2 of them. And rest of that is all linked to our ADA token. So we are, when we started, we were quoted by a very important guy from Stanford as a social economic experiment. And that was because we are possibly the lowest supply company in the world. We have 5,000 tokens for lifetime supply. 3,500 are in the public domain. We got listed today. And all our ecosystem, the NFTs, the DeFi asset management platform, the DEX, which supports ERC20, Binance Smart Chain, and Polkadot, goes live in the next 2 months. Everything is linked to ADA. And it's pretty crazy that a lot of people thought that we are joking about this. And now it's manifesting and it's looking great. And the beauty is that if you bought ADA in pre-sale, or if you buy it even now, anywhere in the world where we get listed, we are only on Uniswap today. All of the NFTs which we have produced, co-produced, and created over the last 7 months, you can access them for free and instantly sell them on any other marketplace simply by staking your ADA tokens. So it's a very serious play for us. We've been very bullish on the NFT space. And I think what we are seeing, what Travis just mentioned, I think this might not be sustainable according to me in the next few months. This price points of auctions which are happening, whether it's for CryptoPunks, for Beeple is an exceptionally talented artist, and he's very real, and we can see from all his works in the last few months. But I do feel that we've reached a point where NFT is becoming a kind of a status game. And a lot of billionaires want to outbid each other, sometimes without understanding the underlying cost of the product they are buying, maybe. And I think we are yet to see a lot of stuff coming into the play, which means tokenization of real world assets, precious metal, and many, many more things going to be in the NFT. So I think this digital art, crypto art, And everything that we are experiencing for the past few months is possibly just evolution stage 1.
And Vlad, BlockParty, you were my favorite ticketing platform. How'd you get it to NFTs?
Yeah, that was what we were doing in 2017. We founded on the idea that an NFT makes a lot of sense as a event ticket, right? An ERC 20 could be a GA ticket, and the ERC 721 could be a ticket where the metadata really matters, as in where it's located. It was a somewhat of a far departure from me because my career for the 10 years prior to joining BlockParty was in the fine art business. And all the many times that I have transacted with Christie's and Sotheby's and art galleries, I ran a $150 million fund for fine art. That was my world. And with the NFTs being event tickets, well, I mean, I would always say that this made a lot of sense, and we had the ability to speak to so many music festivals and so many sports teams and so many of these things that I would feel familiar with because I spoke to these folks who owned them in the art business. And what we learned very quickly in NFT ticketing is that it makes so much sense. It's one of those things that makes so much sense. And then when you get out into the field, you're like, wait a minute, does this make sense? Right? And because the core belief for BlockParty is that NFTs are the consumer use case for blockchain, and that's where we have art fans and music fans and folks like that are engaging with the blockchain in a meaningful way thanks to NFTs. That also means there are certain underlying technologies that are taking place and processes that are taking place. And so, fans want to get into a building, get into an event with a very quick and easy. It's got to be quick and easy. And unfortunately, not a lot of blockchain products are quick and easy. That's just the reality. Theoretically, ERC 20 and ERC 721 make a lot of sense about a seated ticket or a GA ticket. But we realized pretty quickly that in the field, we were asking a blockchain to do something that it really wasn't equipped to do at the time. So we are we're a highly adaptable company, and I think that the technology is rapidly coming around where it is getting more consumer friendly. And I do very strongly believe that NFT ticketing will have its day. However, until we get there, I did have the opportunity to pivot BlockParty into a place that is much more native to what my experience is in the fine art world. And so when the platform we have now with BlockParty is really collectibles that are music related, that are art related, that that have a particular focus on all the things that we learned from being in the field and making NFTs super easy to access and use for the fan. And we have our approach to that. We've also been around long enough, NFTs. It's been 3 years now that we understand, okay, we have our consumer product. We have where fans can go buy and sell NFTs of music, of artwork. We have that. But what about all these 3 years of working with NFTs and what do we do with all that experience? And so we've also developed NFT protocol. Our CTO, Joseph Fischella, is the lead developer on NFT protocol. And that's where we build decentralized products for the NFT space. We're right now rolling out our NFT DEX. That's for ERC 721 to ERC 721 swaps. Also ERC 20 to ERC 721 swaps in a completely decentralized and permissionless way. We have staking mechanisms on NFT protocol, and we have plans that NFT protocol should enable NFT to NFT swaps across chains. And so we want to move horizontally to include NFTs in Ethereum, in Flow, on other chains. I think interoperability is really the way that the NFT space levels up. And then, that's where we are now. And with BlockParty, do we return to tickets one day? it's very possible. But for right now, we've had our success in really onboarding some of the world's best musicians, some of the world's best music festivals, art galleries, and we're set for a relaunch on March 24th with a lot of things that we're excited to bring to the world.
Fantastic. So Travis, technology in and of itself is not useful. It's the killer app that creates the need and the demand pull. Is NFT that killer app for the blockchain crypto world?
I think that it's as Vlad mentioned. I think that this is one of the things that is really exciting folks about mainstream, right? It's really driving people in. A lot of people they didn't really understand the crypto thing. They heard about Bitcoin, that's cool, but you try to get somebody an Ethereum, wallet, get them on MetaMask, try to, even really smart people, they get hung up along the way. And we saw this early on. So we created this thing called proof of listening on our podcast. And if you listen to our show, we would give you a short URL. You could go and claim an NFT on Ethereum. And after we did about 10 of those, we realized the gas fees were starting to get a little stupid. And so last year, I think it was in March, we started really exploring the Wax ecosystem. And so far, I don't know that there's been anybody who's personally minted more NFTs than we have. We've got a series called Blockchain Heroes that we released that has all these top people in blockchain. And then we teach people about blockchain. We've minted over 600,000 NFTs so far. Wow. We got another series getting ready to come out that will push us over 1 million NFTs launched live, and we've sold over 100,000 of those on the secondary market, and the amount of wax that we've earned on that secondary market is pretty ridiculous. And so we came at this from, we are not an existing IP. We created this existing IP, these different characters, created these cards, multiple variations, created a pack opening experience that really excited folks. And one thing I discovered about this, that Joel and I discovered with this project, is that it really delivers a lot of delight to folks. They get really excited about this. If you make this stuff fun and exciting, and we're talking about entertainment, we're talking about gaming, and in this particular panel, and that's really what we've done, is we've created these NFTs that are collectible. We've allowed them to, there's some gamification in there where you can combine cards, create new cards. We've created all these different mechanisms for them to stake and to craft and to create new collections and to burn collections and to get new cards and just to create a fun, amazing experience for folks. And we've created this massive community of folks that really, really love this and are having an amazing time collecting our collectibles. And now we've been working with a bunch of other, brands and musicians and stuff that are coming in because we've done it. We've had 5 successful launches. Our last launch sold out in 1 second. And we do it on a platform where there's 0 gas fees. Wax, you can print 1,000 NFTs for a penny. Actually, no, 1,000 NFTs for $1 is what you can print. And so you don't have these ridiculous gas fees. And what I'm seeing, and I think what you guys are, we just touched on it. Beeble, $60 million. Like, who has $60 million just sitting around here? Regular people do not have $60 million to drop on pixels, right? And so that's going to, those are money grabs.
I have to interrupt you. I think after the stimulus act, we each have $60 million.
That's right. Yeah. Well, they print them out. We got that Zimbabwe dollar now.
Exactly. So we have a creator, we have a marketplace, and we have infrastructure, right? Let's say that we want to explain to people how you launch an NFT. How do I get in? How do I get into this game, right? So how would it work, Travis? Who would you approach, and how would you start?
Okay. Well, let's say you're a legacy musician. You've been around for years, right? You want to go and do something like Kings of Leon did and do this big, huge money grab that didn't even sell out, and they had to lower their prices because they were like, oh, we're going to sell these NFTs for $50,000, and we're going to sell these for $10,000, and we're going to sell a whole bunch of these for $2,500 and $1,000, and it failed miserably, and it pissed off a lot of their fans. What do you want to do? Do you want to go and sell, $2 million worth of NFTs to 50 fans, or do you want to sell, 2 million NFTs to, all these different fans, right? You want to make all these fans happy, and they really didn't. And so what you need to do is find a platform that enables you to create various different assets. And I think what Vlad was talking about, he's got a cool ecosystem. One of the things that I thought of as an early use case about a year ago was that whole ticket experience. A ticket is an NFT, right? You can go into a venue and it's geo proximity based. It knows where you are. Your ticket could then drop you a pack of cards. You can open up your pack of cards because you're in the venue now. It knows you're here. Open them up. Oh, you get these cool cards. Maybe you get a record cover, right? Oh, now you got a picture of them backstage. Oh, here's a little music clip. Oh, here's a full video. Oh, here's a cool animation. Oh, here's this 3D thing. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. I got 5 of them for free. Oh, cool. How do I get more? Oh, there's several hundred others that we could go collect. And then that's what's going to happen. And then if you get certain NFTs, then maybe, you know, the wallet will know you have that NFT in it. Boom, you just got dropped a backstage pass, right? So there's some really cool things you're going to be able to do. But I think it evolves around this, delighting your fans. Do not look at this as a money grab. How can I go get several $1 million out of my fans? The age of extracting value from your fans and from your customers is over. Now we're talking about shared value and creating things that your customers and your fans can also collect and then enjoy in the value creation over time. You collect some of these things are going to increase in value. And we've seen for so long consumerism and capitalism extracting as much value from their customers as possible and not giving anything back. And I think NFTs and this ecosystem is changing that.
Mike, can you expand on that a little bit? Talk about how we're changing the experience and the value away from being centralized, owned by the creator, and now giving the purchaser, the consumer, the participant more power and more sovereignty.
Yeah, so I agree with Travis that the age of extracting from your fans, your customer, is over. I fully am on board with that. And people who don't get this will eventually repent, because greed is not good, no matter what people think. And unless you are part of sharing economy, and unless you are doing something which is a combination of your talent connecting with your fans at a value where you can bring more and more participation of your fans, whether you're a musician, whether you're a gold miner, whether you're a watchmaker, whatever that is. So that's very, very important. And I think that's already going to happen very fast than what people can imagine. Coming back, I think what's happening is that people should not forget the main premise of any engagement in the world. So I don't know if I can show you something for 30 seconds or even less.
Try.
I sent you one link, James. Can you play that for me just for like 15, 20 seconds?
We're just in
on the public, on the chat between the 4 of us.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
It should directly work if you can do it as a.
I don't think I can share my screen.
You're not a host. Only DigitalWeek.Online is the host, I guess.
All right. Okay. So no problem. You guys can check it later on, and we'll plug in some more links later on. So the idea is that, all of us grew up with very subjective experiences. For example, Vlad explained about his art experience. Art is very important to me. My grandfather was a very big art collector in India for his entire life. And I started understanding art at the age of 5 with him, and eventually with my dad when I was in college. And I think it was a very big exposure. And there are always certain elements, whether it's Vlad, Travis, you, me, all of us in the world who we connect to, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Star Trek, whether it's movies, things that we grew up with. And I think that this is going to play a very important part in the co-creation of what's happening right now, that how emotionally can you engage a customer and how can you sustain that moment for a longer period of time and keep them waiting for more and more exciting stuff is very important. What Travis mentioned about whether it's 60 million or the CryptoPunk for literally 4,000 Ethereum, I think those are not regular people. Those are not even crypto degens. Those are people, I don't know where they come from and what kind of wealth they are sitting on. But the fact is that they are in this space right now, spending money like crazy. Now, if they are spending money which they own or they are doing this for somebody else, we will know over a period of time. But the main interesting part is that there is so much participation from mainstream artists, and we are going to see a lot of mainstream artists from music, from art, from DJ, even from fashion, entering this space in a big way. The beauty here is what I'm seeing a bit of a small concern is that a celebrity or already recognized artist who has great connections within the system and the infrastructure is right now cashing out very quickly without even putting enough thought process on what she or he needs to create. And then there are artists who have come up with a lot of intelligent uh, execution, who are not really known at all in the NFT space, but they had a finance degree and they were a DJ like Lau or Park, or if you look at Primal Cipher, or if you look at so many of these guys who came from absolutely nowhere, and they are in the top 5, top 10 Nifty super rare collection today for the last 6 months back to back, or Esteban and many other great talented people. So I think this is something which is we call as a clearing stage or the web 1.0. And when we move to web 2.0, web 3.0, we will be in a complete different space, which I don't think none of us have any idea where we are going. I spoke to an insurance company in the physical world, which are doing something in the range of 70-80 billion dollars a year in Asia and Far East and Southeast Asia. And they are actually exploring how to get into the space with financial NFT covers and stuff like that. So this is way more bigger than we can think right now. And the real use cases are not even out in the public domain yet.
James, you're on mute.
My dog sees a squirrel outside. So I was trying to spare you guys my little alpha dog banging his face against the window while barking. So Vlad, my son is an artist, and he does digital and he does physical. He's painter, sculptor, and really interesting digitized photography. And how does he start? He has the art. He's young. He understands technology, but not really crypto yet. But he sees what's happening and he's looking for a way to express himself. How does he start?
Yeah, absolutely. And he starts by creating art, and he starts by, I don't know that you run to sell it. I think a lot of what we're seeing right now is people running to sell it. And I think that is not the right way. That's not sustainable. I think we're in a big hype cycle right now, and that's great. But I think we've seen in the music side some examples of I ran to sell it before I thought about what it means to my fans. And so with a young aspiring artist, I think the first thing you do is network with other artists, network with artists that mean something, find your space. Like, who is your network? Who is your audience? Who is your person? A lot of the platforms like Nifty and Super Rare and the players in the space are kind of acting like as functional art galleries. Mm-hmm. And so I think that before you get onto that platform and you're trying to figure out how to bring together your audience and their audience, who is your audience? Who are you? Who are you as an artist? Figure that out. Talk to other artists. Get in there. So much of this community is happening online. Talk to the community. Share your art with them, and build a community that feels right for you. And once you have that community that feels right for you, then go figure out what gallery you match up with. In this case, platform. I think that right now in this hype cycle, we're seeing this effort to just like run out. And I've heard from so many artists that I work with over the years. I've heard from so many musicians that I've worked with over the years. Like, hey, that artist just made $1 million. Like, why aren't I making $10 million? I'm 10 times the artist they are. And I'm like, that is so the wrong mindset. Because if you go running out there, just get something out to this NFT hype, once we get past the hype, you're gonna look like a money grabber, right? And it's not gonna play well. And so on the music side, for your son, I would say get started by figuring out who your art niche is and grow it with the right platform. I hope it's BlockParty, but it may be somebody else. We have to support the artist and getting them, in the art world, an artist that does like photorealism paintings might not feel comfortable at Pace Gallery, even though Pace Gallery is a big name, and they might feel better at another gallery. It's no different here. And when it comes to musicians, the most successful conversations I have with popular musicians, I just start with a very simple question, which is, can you describe what your fan culture is? Can you describe how one fan dunks on another fan to show off like how much they're the bigger fan? What does it mean to be your fan? Like, how do I recognize one of your fans, in the world? And because the artists that have really cogent answers, my fans call themselves this. My fans exchange that. This is like what fan culture is. You can start building an NFT around it that is meaningful to that fan culture. Because if it's meaningful to that fan culture and it gets people excited, the crypto money is going to start kind of getting in there and getting excited as well, because they want to be into this trend. And so when I've heard from musicians or music festivals that are like, listen, the hype is right now. I haven't made money in a year, and I don't have time to educate my fans about NFTs. I just want to get in there. I'm like, well, BlockParty is not the place for you.
Right.
But I'm all for artists securing the bag. So I'm like, go get it, go into the hype, get to the hype cycle, make the bag, come back to us when your fans are like pissed off that they can't afford $1 million NFT. I think NFTs are kind of for the culture, and you're actually seeing this play out in the opposite way with Beeple's sale and Christie's, right? Because what's happening in the opposite way is that our NFT culture has allowed an artist to get elevated to the fine art realm, and now the fine art world is efficiently inefficient, right? Like intentionally we in the fine art world, a lot of stuff is opaque and a lot of stuff is inefficient, but we are really, really exceedingly efficient at separating out, like, when something has reached a museum quality level of it not only making museum quality price points, but getting treated and enshrined as a museum quality, culturally relevant thing. So not only is this huge for Beeple, who is culturally relevant, he has millions of fans around the world, but he just didn't go the traditional gallery route. You now have this enshrined in the hands of a proper collector, handled by professionals at Christie's, and I think it's I think it's a huge validation of NFTs. But I caution to remind everybody that digital art has been around for decades. Digital art has been around since digital, and once upon a time, photography wasn't considered real art. And actually, photography used to be a pretty digital medium, right? You capture an image and it gets burned to negative, but nobody's buying negatives, so you have to make a print to productize the work. And it took photographers decades to get taken seriously. Today, in 2021, we think about the greats like Henri Cartier-Bresson, and we think about the greats in photography as like art history greats. But they needed a print to productize their art. And why is this any different now with Beeple, somebody that is a very meaningful and culturally relevant artist, and he made an NFT to productize his digital art? I caution.
He's the third most, the highest valued living artist today, right now, is Beeple. Right?
That's right. It's he's just joined the ranks in a big way. And so when we look back at all this stuff 40 years from now, digital art, which, by the way, again, digital art been around for decades, hard to collect because hard to own, hard to productize. NFTs have productized digital art. And so I think that this is really scratching the surface of productizing a great art form. And I think one of the pioneering artists is now sort of in that, in that highly collectible, highly valuable sphere, which the next step in that is, well, again, what the hell am I saying? Digital art is already exhibited in museums, but now we're going to have like really blue chip digital art collections exhibited in museums. And that's where I think the cultural tide starts to really turn.
Well, also, I think I agree that there's going to be the high art aspect, the people kind of stuff, but also I think you go to the other end of the spectrum where you can start to monetize experiences. And I think what you're talking about is really important. That digital art's been around for a while, but how did you deliver it? How did you market it? How did you own it? How did you trade it? Right? How did you manipulate it? I think that that's what's changing right now is that we're starting to have access to actually personalize the experience that you have with the digital art. So, Travis, what do your fans know you for? What's the fans code around you?
Well, I think it's a matter of people who like to collect fun stuff. They have a good sense of humor. They love crypto. I mean, we've got over 10 million downloads of our podcast, Bad Crypto. So a lot of people, we've led them into NFTs. So we're sort of pioneering a lot of stuff. And what's cool about Blockchain Heroes is that Joel and we had the idea, and then his son Zach is like a nonfiction, or he's a fiction writer, and he's played all these games throughout time. So he kind of helped create all the lore. And then I taught my son how to do a lot of the Photoshop and production, how to do some of these cool effects. So basically, Blockchain Heroes is two father-son duos. And so one thing I would add on to Vlad's thing about what to do if your son is trying to learn is just keep stacking your skills, man. Don't just rely on what you got right now. It's like start learning Blender, start learning some 3D modeling. What excites you? Figure out After Effects. You know what I mean? Just hone your craft, get good. And once you get good, people are going to notice and they're going to want your artwork, right? And so that's what I would add on that. And I would just say that if you have your North Star is delivering delight and adding value and over delivering to your folks, you're going to win. A lot of these people out there are not. They're like, look, what's in it for me? How can I get mine? How can I extract as much value from all these people? Me. And that's the wrong thing. And that's why people on Ethereum, that ecosystem is going to come crashing down. I think gas fees are too high, and Ethereum, Ethereum NFTs are not on IPFS, so it's not actually connected to something that's going to be around 100 years from now. So I look at this like, how are we going to create art that's going to be around 100 years from now, so our kids could get it passed down, and it's going to be on IPFS for the most part. That's what it seems like. That's interplanetary file system. If you're not putting your NFTs on IPFS, you don't really have a long-term, blockchain NFT. And so a lot of these chains don't do that. And so I don't work with those. I don't think that's permanent. And I don't think that does sufficient value for the space. I think that people are overcharging. Because why? Well, you got to sell an NFT for at least $100 when your gas fee is $50, right? And so the price, you can't create a little cards and cool little, I can't send somebody a $5 card on Ethereum. I'm gonna spend 10 times that in gas fees. So just Ethereum's blown out of the water. That's why Dapper Labs and CryptoKitties, when they clogged up Ethereum, they realized, oh damn, this isn't gonna work. We better create something else, and they created Flow. Flow is an amazing blockchain, very fast. And if you're in America, you could not participate in the ICO of Flow. You could not get that 10-cent ICO Flow, which pisses me off because I wanted to load up the trucks. And now it's like $35 for a Flow, right? So, if you're looking at this from different angles and while you're thinking about NFTs, think about the various platforms that are being built. Think about the highways that these NFTs are going to be running on. Think about the permanence of them. Think about the experience. Think about the fees, cost associated to those, and then maybe start, looking into those and investing in some of the platforms you think are interesting. Like I'm going to check. I've actually been looking, Mike. How do I find ETA swap anywhere? Where's the Ether scan on that? Because I typed it in and I see ETA 1, ETA 2, ETA 3, ETA 4. I don't know. So let me ask
Travis, I did the same thing. I need the token contract address.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
Actually, I can paste it in the chat, but James, I wanted to talk about Harrison specifically because I had an interesting chat with your son over the last few weeks.
Yep.
And I think he's a very talented individual. I'm pretty confident about this. He already is on Blender. He is running 3D and 4D rendering. And I think he's already on the right track in a way. And I also told him that you can start like what Vlad said, that you can find your artist, your friends, people who connect with your art. You keep on honing your skills. But I told him you should play around with something like OpenSea, which is a very, very open platform. And a lot of people have come from absolutely nowhere and created their own fan base, 20, 50, 100, 200 fans. And I think that's a brilliant, brilliant starting point. But I have had exchange of many messages with him over the Instagram, and I think to be honest, he's pretty much on the right track, and he's really talented. What I saw with his 3D, 4D rendering, something which was a neon light floral based work, I was quite impressed that 2 weeks before that, he didn't know how to do that. And then he showed me something and it blew my mind. I said, you are already on a good roll here. By the way, guys, so somebody wrote on the Digital Week channel, we can share the screen.
Yes.
All of you have the Uniswap pair in the chat. Please let me know if it works. There are always 20 fake tokens being listed when you list a token. This is the new problem every entrepreneur and companies are facing in the world today. And the pair which are listed should directly take you to the Ethereum ADA pair. This is the only pair in the world which we have created. The liquidity is supplied by us. It's almost, I would say, $1 million liquidity now, and it will keep on growing. And it's a very small supply. We are 3,500 token in public domain, 500 tokens and everything else is reward system. Lifetime supply, no matter whether I am alive or no, will never be changed more than 5,000 token for next 100 years.
Mike, do you want to share your screen and show the video?
Yeah, if you can do it, great, because I think you already have the permission to do that. I just want to show that one, and I would love to have Travis and Vlad's view on it. Why this connected to so many successful people, and they started tweeting about 5 of these NFTs or this series called the Founders Series, which we created from scratch over the last 5 months.
Okay, I'm going to try and let me see what happens here.
Yeah, you did it, and you just have to click on the link now.
Now I got to find the link. You see, you're taxing my capabilities here, Mike.
I think, James, you are much more capable than you imagine.
I hope that's true. Okay, is it? No, the link's not working. Is it?
I
got it.
A machine in Switzerland.
I don't think I can get it, Mike. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, you can just make it full screen and make the volume on.
All right, there we go.
You can't see the. I can't see the video. I can only hear the audio.
I can't. Here we go.
Can you just start from beginning if you don't mind?
All right, I'll try again. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's sing here. This is cool. So, Mike, did you?
Smart Cities and Internet of Things. I had a conversation with him a number of weeks ago now, but it was really interesting. So think about how inefficient the cities are.
I'm not sure who's talking.
Then talk about.
But I'm not sure. Who
like traffic lights. The traffic lights are programmed. On average, in the U.S., they are 8 years old.
You got another video playing there.
I know. It went to the next video. Thank God it was a good one. So, Mike, how long does it take to produce something like that?
So to be honest, we have a production center here in Prague, in Czech Republic. We work with artists from Japan to Istanbul to even LA now. And to be honest, this Winklevoss NFT, actually, we couldn't see the quality is much more higher than this. If you see directly on YouTube, if you search ADA Swap on YouTube, you can see many of those NFTs there right now, the previews. And to be honest, this one took us almost 7 to 8 weeks to get where we wanted to be. Just one of them, and at the end of the 8th week, we realized, okay, we are now happy. And somebody in the team said, oh, but I don't like the way the Bitcoin renders in the end. We don't like the spaceship going over the the end of the universe or the beginning of the curve of the earth. So there were changes and we used another 5 days. So it's very subjective. I think quality and good work takes time, and you can't do things in like 3 days and start selling it. And for us, it's all about quality and execution. And it's something where people feel, wow, this is something different than what I expected. And I actually got a private message from Cameron on Instagram and Twitter, maybe 6 of them. He wanted to know much more what we are doing, who are we, how are we building and funding this, and instantly connected me with 2 or 3 people in his team, which was quite generous and grateful of him. But it's amazing that what people attention can be pulled when you are not interested about that, when you're focused on developing what you believe in. And we never expected Cameron Winklevoss to tweet about it, to be honest, or even reach out to us. But it's happening with every single NFT, whether it's CZ, whether it's Cronje. So many people who are like really the OGs in the crypto space have taken notice of all of this, and they are like wondering, oh wow, we are a small startup from Prague and Switzerland, and how are we doing all this? So I think it's extremely important to be focused on, be extremely connected to what you're doing, and that eventually really brings the right attention.
So I see, I love the art and I think it's fantastic, but I see what I think Vlad and Travis were also leading towards, which is that this is just the first example of what you can do, with these NFTs. I think that the NFTs are going to turn into gateways to experiences. Where basically the possession of the NFT will trigger other events or other opportunities for you when whether it's geographically located, or whether you go into a metaverse and maybe you come across some aspect of a metaverse, which then it changes for you because of the fact that you own, that you have an NFT or you have a digital asset in possession. So have you guys started to play with metaverses yet? Vlad?
Time.
Interesting. I would just say this real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
You hit on something. I'll let you get on there, Vlad, because let me see here. So I would say this is that look at NFTs as advanced media. They're programmable smart contracts that you can do anything for the most part with. Video, images, text, audio, links, AR, VR, 3D, right? Geo proximity based, time release based. You can program so many things into an NFT. And they can be, as you mentioned, keys to other things, unlock other things. You have this NFT, it opens up other stuff. So that right there that's the key mechanism, is we have advanced media now to be programmable, and that's where the opportunities are.
Interesting. Vlad?
Yeah, we this is a lot of what the metaverse and the our physical realm are two things where people want to go and do stuff. And so when we were a ticketing company, right? Like one of the main things that we kept hearing was, does your blockchain help us sell more tickets? Does your blockchain help us make more money? No. Well, then figure out how to do that and then come back to us. And I think that, as Travis pointed out, NFTs are programmable advanced media. So another way of saying that is it's a much smarter collectible. The music fans that we deal with and the art fans that we deal with, when I collect so much ephemera from the concerts I go see, and sometimes it's framed on my wall, sometimes it's the back of my closet, but it's disconnected from the place where I got it, other than emotionally. And so I think a collectible still captures that emotional bond, but now it's programmatic. And so we're really excited about all the things that we're doing now, about, all those same events. We're like, can your blockchain make me more money? Can it sell more tickets? I'm like, well, not really. But now it's like, can your blockchain engage my fans better? And I'm like, well, yes, it can. Yes, it can, because your fans already collect things and you already sell things to be collected. You're just selling one more thing and your fans are just buying one more thing. But now it's programmatic, and now it can confer all sorts of benefits, and it can change, and now you're linked to the fan digitally. And so, and this is where our experience in that field is going to serve us really well, because we have run an NFT product in the field, and we've made all the mistakes, And now, now we have our blockchain agnostic platform that we built because we know that Ethereum is great for doing certain things. And then when you ask it to do things that it's not meant to do, don't ask you to do that. We could do it on Flow, which is, when we talk about what we want to do with like real life events, we can ask Flow to do things that it was conceived to do, like transaction speeds and for NFTs. So, it's equally important for BlockParty to sell $25,000, $10,000 NFTs and also $10,000, $25 NFTs. And that's how you get different levels of fandom. So but we know how to run a blockchain product in the field, and we're applying that to making an NFT. Like I hear a lot of platforms saying like, hey, this NFT that we sell can also be a ticket. And I'm like, did you ever try to run an NFT as a ticketing access control thing in a field where there's no cell phone signal? There's a lot of things you got to figure out first. And so we're excited about that thing, but also as an NFT platform, we just have to be really, really good at being an NFT platform. So when it comes to actually conferring rewards and conferring experiences and some of that programmatic stuff, we've actually, we have a sister company called Moonwalk, because doing that stuff is a full-time job and a full-time company all on its own. And then finally, in your question about, I'm talking about the physical verse, the metaverse, right? The metaverse is where I think we have these things nowadays like Decentraland, like crypto voxels. And by the way, the mainstream music world and the mainstream art world has taken notice in a big way. What Fortnite did with Travis Scott and Marshmello has been noticed in a big way. Right. And I think you're about to see the boom of the last year of live streaming and the coming boom of metaverses interact and cross over each other, because events are paying attention. Events are like, our venue capacity is our capacity. What about a metaverse? And so you have, so we have that with live streaming. But what's really interesting about a metaverse is you can own things in this digital environment. So what if you can own things in a digital concert, right? So like, what I can own digital merch that only I can wear to that concert. I can, my NFT could enable my avatar at that concert to be 5 times the size of any other avatar in that concert. You can start really combining the benefits of owning something in the digital realm, as we're experiencing right now, with large scale like popular events coming online, and that some of the stuff I've seen is about to get like real wacky, but in the best possible way.
Can you give an example of that?
I mean, like your NFT being like, if you're watching a concert take place in a metaverse, and then like you have an NFT that you can pay to have join the performer on stage. I mean, if you can pay for it, you can do it. But maybe your NFT is something like, I don't know, like a dancing Pellegrino bottle, and I've always wanted to see a dancing Pellegrino bottle on stage. Right. So the platforms that I've seen about it in the right way, and it's very cool.
And Mike, have you started thinking about metaverses and how your assets will be used?
Yeah, so I think all of this is happening parallelly. When I was doing my engineering, there was a company which existed. I was in Silicon Valley, and there was a company which existed called Second Life, if anybody remembers here.
Linder Labs.
Correct. So they basically
$1 million.
They did this basically 20 years ago, almost 15 years ago. If you saw the Travis Scott concert Fortnite, which was extremely successful on YouTube, I think more than 48 million people were live or something. It was something crazy. And I think this is becoming reality. And this is going to be very, very big. So we are talking to a couple of artists and musicians who want us to help them with the production rather than anything else. And we are looking at already doing merch for them in the digital space. This should be out in the towards the end of second quarter of this year itself. And I think this is becoming big. And now even the artists have realized that they don't want to do something temporary. They want to do something which has real value, and like that fan should feel that if he paid $20,000 for this, this was a banger value and he can hold on to this for 10 years and maybe sell it for $200,000.
So, I was reading that Atari just licensed, I think with Decentraland, they're going to open a casino inside of Decentraland. And so, I think that in my mind, that's where all this is going to start to go is actually the Second Life was prescient, was copied after my favorite book, Snow Crash. The idea of having a parallel universe where we can exist, and avatars, which are digital wallets with AI and run by algorithms, can go around and and really execute our desires. And I kind of see that that's the future that I'm hoping I'm alive for, as it comes down the pike. So as we close up, Travis, give us a closing thought on, if I just wanted to enjoy, forget the money, everyone goes to the money, right? If I just wanted to enjoy a new form of experience, where would you send me?
Well, yeah, I would say this: if you're not one of the Ethereum cantillionaires that are super wealthy and want to blow all your Ethereum on stuff, is go to Wax, check it out. Go to atomichub.io, go to wax.io, get yourself a wallet. It'll take you 10 seconds maybe. You can sign up with any of your social channels, but I would recommend your email address. And sign up, and then go into Atomic Hub and take a look at it, and you can start seeing the different projects. What's really cool about a Wax ecosystem is that they've brought on a whole lot of big brands, but the big brands aren't the ones that are doing the best. It's the independents that have built up community, and it really showcases that. So you can see the top 20 people, there's only like maybe 5 of them that are big brands. The rest of them are the independents. And so a lot of these big people are coming after Ethereum. They're doing big money grabs. Like, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, Rob Gronkowski is doing Gronk NFTs, and he's selling them for ridiculous amounts of money. And I don't know, but this dude already has $100 million worth of football contracts. I don't know why I would support an NFT project for Rob Gronkowski when none of it seems to be going to charity, seems to be going to his pocket. It's a money grab. So watch out for these folks with money grabs. They're not fun. Nifty Gateway is even becoming a money grab. Whenever you first started that, you could buy some things for $50, $100. Now you got projects coming out. You're like, oh, you can only buy these for $45,000. Like, it's getting insane. So I think you're going to get yourself caught up in the Ethereum world. You're going to spend a lot of money. The value of those over time are going to tank, is my opinion. And go to some place where it's actually fun. And what I would suggest is just really overall collect stuff you're interested in. Don't worry about trying to spin it and flip it and get this and 10x it immediately, and just get stuff you like and have fun with the process and collect it and show it on your wall and just enjoy it. You know what I mean? A lot of people get caught up on all these other things, and it's getting ridiculous.
I agree. Mike, to talk to what do you see? What's the most exciting thing of the, if you were just telling someone who just want to go and learn and have a sense of wonder, where would you send them?
So I would say people that, explore every open marketplace to understand what's going on, and focus on somebody who's selling or starting from $10, $20, $50, $100 range. And if they become with 1,000 followers or 2,000 followers, and how did that happen? When I was growing up with the art world practice with my grandfather from, I would say, age 5 to age 15 or more, he always told me one simple thing, that whatever you are buying at this moment as a family, or whatever we are buying, if we do not absolutely madly love it, then you will repent at some point. So they never even had those thought about flipping or selling. I have sold his work in Christie's in London, many of them. And I've been grateful to, have grandfather like that who really understood this space. But he never sold anything. And he never believed in price appreciation or any of this. He actually wanted to support a local artist who was very poor in Bombay or in Delhi, who had great talent, who was selling work for less than, in those days, maybe $50, which are now suddenly $1 million after 27 years, or maybe $5 million. But he did not have this vision or thinking. He had a vision that he wants to go after the best artist and collect as much as he can for his family, for his kids, grandkids, and that's it. So that was a very fundamental, strong exposure. And I still stick to that clearly. That's very, very important, without a doubt. And I think everything else which is becoming a hype or a money grab and all is not sustainable, unfortunately. And like Travis just mentioned, you could buy work of literally Primal Cipher for $50 on Nifty 5 months ago. Now, in your dreams, it's not going to happen.
And Vlad, where would you, it's again, someone looking for a new experience that wants to break in and feel a sense of wonder, where would you send them?
So to BlockParty, obviously. No, I'm a company man through and through. No, I think I actually get asked a lot by friends in the art business of what I think of all this stuff and what I think of some of these artists going from, like, 5,000 to untold numbers, like, virtually overnight. I mean, we've seen, in the art world, we've seen, like, hype cycles like this come and go, and, like, the market kind of corrects itself and figures out, okay, what's really valuable, what was this or that. So we've seen this before. And so, like, people ask me all the time, like, what's interesting here? What's, like, let me cut through the noise. And something that I'm personally enjoying is what is happening with the generative artists that are doing things like art blocks and are doing things like Euler beats and are doing things like that, because something that is true of the industry is that both in art and NFTs actually is this idea of a certificate of authenticity. And I very often hear NFTs be mislabeled as certificates of authenticity. Oh, how do I know I'm buying the real digital file? Oh, the NFT is a certificate of authenticity. That's not really how that works. The way that it actually works in the art world is we don't really get certificates of authenticity anymore. Many of the foundations have stopped issuing them. They can't tell. So when you go to Sotheby's or Christie's to resell your Warhol, they're not asking you for certificate of authenticity. They're asking you to provide a chain of title, where you got it from and how you can draw it back to Andy himself, which is a tacit way of saying, we don't even care if this is the one true Warhol. We care that we could reasonably prove that you are the person that has the one true Warhol. And so the same is true in NFTs, where you have NFTs that are associated with a digital media that we don't know exactly which one is the one of all the various potential screenshots in the world. No, actually, with NFTs, that token means that you are the one that bought it from Nifty. You are the one that bought it from BlockParty. And so where it gets really interesting is, when can NFTs actually be certificates of authenticity in the way that they're supposed to be considered that? And generative art kind of solves that, right? Because the code that generates the art is hashed right into the token. Right. And, you can express randomness, you can express code on chain. And so there's a reason why some of those projects are having big numbers that I think are sustainable numbers, because you're seeing, you're seeing that randomness, and you're seeing that stuff valued. So the one non-BlockParty thing I would point everybody to is check out Euler beats. I think that's what's up. I think art blocks are awesome. I think Avstars are awesome. And it's specifically for that use case that I just mentioned.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for spending the time with us. I learned a lot. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can I just add one last thing? I actually forgot to say, we announced this on my Twitter as well, because all of the guys here are way more advanced and possibly much more experienced than me as well. So we just announced last week that we are creating an NFT with two of the biggest silver mint companies in Switzerland and Spain. And it's on my Twitter profile. You can see the video of that. It's an ADA token. It's an ADA coin. It's an NFT. And when you buy that NFT, you actually get a physical 30-gram silver coin, which is 999.99 touch, not 92.5. And it has Ethereum embedded into it. Could be 0.5, 0.10. It's going to be a very mysterious thing. And this rolls out in the next 60 to 90 days. People are going to be surprised. It's pretty crazy. We are attempting something which has not been done, but we also feel that both Ethereum and silver has such a high fundamental value that you will have zero thoughts in your mind or doubts to own something like this.
Interesting. All right. Well, live and learn. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Travis. And thank you, Vlad. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Digital Week Online. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys. Great meeting you, Vlad and Travis. Would love to connect offline.